Hey guys, welcome back to another video. On this tutorial, I am going to show you how I created this nice cut crease on my beautiful client. A disclaimer, there was a lot of editing in this video because when I am with her, we laugh so much. So if you have any questions about any of the technique that I do, just comment down below. So here I am using the Anastasia Brow Wiz pencil. As always, I like to start with the eyebrows and just kind of mark or use the bottom part of her eyebrows as my guideline, and then fill it in as I go towards the top of the brow, giving her an ombre effect. I use the back part of the spoolie brush, and I use that kind of like an eraser towards the front part of her eyebrows so that it won't have like a really strong eyebrow look. I don't like the eyebrows to look too strong. Remember guys, eyebrows are cousins, not sisters. They are not meant to look identically the same. So if one is more arched than the other, you need to realize that not every part maybe, but most part of our body is asymmetrical. So one person may have one eyelid larger than the other, which is called the lazy eye, or one ear shaped different from the other. So that goes with the same as the eyebrows. So here I am using a concealer to just clean up the eyebrow. I'm using a flat Sonia Kashuk brush that I'm sorry they do not sell anymore. I got this in Target a very long time ago. It's a flat synthetic brush, but any flat synthetic brush will do. So you'll notice that in this video, I focused more on one eye rather than just showing you both eyes at the same time, to keep this video nice and short as much as I can. But it's basically the same technique on the other side. Of course, if the client has a different eye shape from her other eye, then I would then obviously do any alteration to the technique, but in this case my client doesn't. So okay guys, so here I am using the P. Louise Rumor Base in 03, and I'm just tapping the product onto her eyelid, making sure that it's nice and set, so when I apply her eyeshadow like so, I can receive as much pigment as possible by just tapping in the product, just patting the product onto her eyelid, as opposed to swiping or wiping, doing that swiper motion on the eyebrow. On the eyelid. So I'm just barely touching her eyelid, just packing the product, packing. I don't want to lose the pigmentation of the eyeshadow. And this technique, guys, it really does work with any eyeshadow that you have, any good pigmentation, because sometimes you use like just a regular eye primer and you won't achieve this pigmentation of the eyeshadow. So here I'm using a transition color, and this brush is from Morphe as well. Of course, I will link everything down below, but I'm barely touching her eyebrows, but I'm barely touching it because I don't want the brush to bend. Just barely like tickling her eyelid. And then once I blend the harsh lines above, I go back into the darker brown, because as you blend, you will lose some of your color. So you have to go back and add the color so that you can have true pigmentation of the eyeshadow you choose. Here you'll notice that I added a darker brown to the outer crease of her eyelids just to deepen the look, give it more dimension, more depth. And you don't see it because I obviously edit the video, but I like to blend my shadows. Blending is your best friend when it comes to makeup, and when you want to do a cut crease, you want to make sure that everything is nice and blended. Here I'm using my lovely P. Louise, again in the 03 shade. And guys, if you can't get your hands on the P. Louise, then you can use alternative. I know Makeup Revolution has one. I used it on my previous video on me. You can even use the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. As long as you do this same technique, you can't go wrong. You want to set the base, just like you set your foundation, right? You want to set the base, so that's why you do a patting motion. Because once the base is set, then your product will not move. It will, once you place the product, that's where it's going to stay. But P. Louise, she designed this particular product for this type of look, and I love it. I love it. I mean, it's worth it. And of course, I will link her page down below if you guys want to get your hands on it. And I'm using a flat synthetic brush. You always want to use a flat synthetic brush when cutting the crease. This one, I'm using a smaller one, and I kind of messed up because I used the wrong brush. This one had like jagged edges, so I had to keep going back and forth and fixing the line, and I kept going higher, a little higher than what I really wanted, but at the end it all worked out. So you see how I'm patting the base? That's what you want. You want to pat the base. I go back and I fix it. But that's makeup. I mean, when you take your time doing makeup, your end result is going to be flawless. This is not your typical wedding makeup where you have only 30 minutes to do the bride, if she gives you 30 minutes. I mean, I wouldn't see how that could be possible. But this is the type of makeup that you want to take your time to do. So if you notice, I did pat in that base because I wanted to set before I go to my next technique or my next step, which is adding the darker brown on the outer corner. Again, patting motion. If I don't set that base, it's going to look, the eyeshadow is going to look patchy, and you're going to question like, oh, the base is damaged or is it defective? But no, it's in reality, you're not really setting the base. You have to set the base in order for you to achieve this nice, smooth look on the eyes. So I'm just gonna repeat this step that I did on the eyelids, the darker shadow, then the medium transition. One thing I want to mention as well is that as you see that I'm on the lighter part of the eyelid, meaning the inner corner, I am using still a fluffy brush, because if I use a flat brush, like a shader brush, and pack all that color in, it'll look patchy as well. So I want to first use a fluffy brush to add the color on the eyelid, and then I go with the flat synthetic brush and go towards the crease to get that nice perfect cut. So I pack the lighter color on the crease with a flat shader brush. On the eyelid, I use a fluffy brush to have more of a softer look. Here I am using the amazing pigment from Jlaruecosmetic. This is the white gold. And I'm using a flat synthetic brush here as well. And I'm just packing the color now on the eyelid. Guys, I forgot to mention that the eyeshadow palette that I was using on her was the Secret Sinner palette from P. Louise as well. Here I'm just giving her a nice wing look. I'm using the NYX matte liquid concealer. But I have a newfound love. I no longer use that concealer, and I'll let you guys know in a different video which one it is. But this one It's still good. I'm not saying that it's not good. It's just I found a replacement. Let me know if you guys want to see a in-depth video on how I do my wing eyeliner on my clients. I get a lot of people asking me, how do I achieve that look? And let me tell you, it takes practice because it's not easy. So here I'm using the Hudabeauty foundation. And guys, let me tell you, I see this video, but if you only knew all the laughter that I had with her, oh my gosh, she is amazing, has a beautiful personality, and those who knows me knows how goofy I am. I'm very silly. I'm always happy most of the time. I'd like to say at least. So yeah, so I did the foundation. The concealer is going to be next. And later on the excuse me, on the video, you will see a little performance by her because she heard the song on the TV. My mom was there and she was watching a program and she heard the song, and I kind of made her perform something like that. Real quick though, I just wanted to add that I was using the Anastasia stick foundation to add the contour and then blending it, and then you'll see me add the bronzer and blush and all that fun stuff. And her laughter. And then I'm not really baking the eye so much. I'm just really packing the setting powder. I didn't want to bake too much. I wanted the focus to be on her eye. That's why I'm not even highlighting to the gods. So that's why I cut a lot of the video portion out of me showing you in details the steps. I don't know why I'm talking like a robot, but I'm just waiting for that one part to come so you guys can see. Don't you love my girl? I love her. She has a beautiful voice. It's amazing. I love to go karaoke with her. So there you go. You're welcome. As you saw in that short clip, I did smoke out the bottom portion of her eyes, just using the same colors I did on her eyelid, like the darker colors. And then here I'm just outlining her lip. Then I used a matte nude liquid lipstick. But then at the end, when you notice in the pictures, I did add a touch of gloss, and that kind of just like gave her more of a sexy vibe to the look. So that completes my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did, or maybe not because I was there and you weren't. Please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and see you in the next one.